All right, welcome to Investments. Here in this video, I'll briefly go through the syllabus, tell you what to expect, what you should know, and to get you started in the course. So I'm the instructor. I'll tell you more about my background as it becomes, as we touch on different topics in the course. I've had a couple decades in industry and in teaching, so I've worked in asset-backed securities, electricity trading, natural gas trading, banking, balance sheet modeling for banks, and hedging for banks and so forth. So we'll touch on a couple of these topics throughout the course, and I'll maybe expand on my industry experience on those topics later. So here, getting down to kind of the bread and butter of the course. The course is online. It's asynchronous, which means we don't have a specific meeting time. I have videos and we'll use the text and so forth, but we won't have a specific time that we meet. The text for the course, Investments, Bodie, Kane, and Marcus. So I have a link to the 8th edition here. The text is, strictly speaking, optional. However, I'd highly recommend you get some edition of this, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, whatever you can. You might even be able to find a version online in like a PDF or something. Some students have told me they are able to find that. I don't know. So I definitely recommend it. It is a great text. And it has quite a bit. Investments is the graduate level text. Like Essentials of Investments is the undergraduate level, but the graduate level just has the undergrad level with stuff added in. So we're going to cover kind of the undergrad sections of this investments text. So definitely pick it up if you can. I will note that the outline of the course, so if we go down here to tentative outline, this goes along the chapters of that text, right? So just chapter 1, chapter 2, and 3, this kind of tells you what we are going to cover, and that refers to the text. So if you don't buy the text, you might want to ask, okay, well, what are the topics in this chapter? There's other materials. I have a bunch of lectures that I put on YouTube here. And this video is most likely going to be put on YouTube. So these are a lot of the topics that we're going to cover in the course. So you'll see here, real assets. So this is kind of exam 1 material, basic. It'll talk about the FX market, foreign exchange market, limit order books, shorting stock, and so forth. And these are some of the trading assignments. So I will put videos on YouTube. Note that I don't have any ads on these videos. I haven't monetized them, so I get no money from this. So in other words, I'm not trying to kind of send you to where I get money. I don't from this. What I use it is it's a very good video hosting. So I've tried to host videos within Brightspace and so forth, and it's far clunkier. And then you would also lose access to the videos after the course is over. And what I'd rather have that you see these videos and then you have access to them as you move on in your finance major or whatever major you are, and then as you move on in your career, you can still access them. So there shouldn't be any ads. YouTube started putting ads on non-monetized videos at some point. So if there is an ad, it doesn't pay me a cent. But hopefully there should be no ads on it. Now, I have a lot of YouTube lectures here that cover most of the topics in the course. However, if you would like to see a new topic, so you're reading the text and you're like, okay, well, this isn't covered and I don't understand it from the text, so I'd like to see a video on that. You can go into our discussion board. We'll talk more about the Brightspace, but request a video. So if you request a video, I'll go ahead and do that video and add it to here. I also have a bunch of lecture notes. So these are interactive lecture notes on financial. On this website, I have financial education. So that links to here. There's a bunch of different courses, but I just linked specifically to our investments course. And this will have interactive applications. So what do I mean by interactive applications? So there's a presentation I created, and then it'll actually allow you to go in and say, okay, well, let me get to one of them here. there. So if you want to see what happens, this is an order book and this is an order book. And so I can do a number, change the number of shares, and it'll, you can see the effect in the order book. So they're interactive in terms of I have a server in the background, this is R. Some of them will be Python, some of them are, and it'll allow you to calculate stuff. Some of them are more interesting. Let's see. This limit order book just, for, I guess, the actual entering a limit order, somewhat more interesting. So the apps can be quite different. So here's, I want to change the number of shares, I change the limit price, I can change buy or sell and see the effect in the order book. So other of these presentations might do graphs, like here I allow you to chart this would be a call options delta, or you can chart a put options delta for various underlying volatilities and strike prices. So it basically takes, these lecture notes take textbook material and it allows you to interact with them. So instead of it being a static chart, you can start changing the underlying parameters and seeing how the calculation changes, right? So they're pretty interesting. I would definitely take a look at them, use them, and I have them for most of what we cover in the course. There's going to be a presentation for them. If you do see a presentation and it says like there's an interactive something here and you don't see it here, let me know. I switched servers, so I'm trying to point all the interactive apps to the new server. Good. All right. So in terms of how you learn the material, there's going to be discussion boards. We'll talk about discussion boards. You have the textbook, you have YouTube lectures, you have interactive lecture notes. And again, don't hesitate if you want to see a new lecture or you want to see new lecture notes. Let me know in the discussion board and I'll create them. I also have a book. This is just a book I wrote. This costs money, so $8. Definitely don't have to buy it, but it covers a lot of what we're going to do in this course is arbitrages. So this is it goes over 39 arbitrages. A little foreshadowing in terms of what we do in investments, which is different than economics, and how finance kind of grew out of economics, is economics has equilibrium arguments, but these are arguments that require a lot of, everyone in the economy has to do something, and it only gives you an approximate value, whereas arbitrage, this is the most powerful force we have in financial markets. So once you understand that option prices are being held to a certain price given the treasury bill prices, stock prices. So if you give me treasury bill prices, stock prices, and so forth, I can tell you what the option price should be given a set of assumptions. And if it's not that, you could get free money. So this is a much stronger pricing mechanism. You can't always use arbitrage, but when you can, that gives you an exact price. So this just goes over construction of 39 arbitrages. Some of them are relevant to the course. So description, this is largely boilerplate in terms of for accreditation purposes. So you can kind of read through that. I'm going to get to some of the more important stuff that I know students want to hear. How are you evaluated? What are the assignments of the course? There's going to be 3 exams. These will be within Brightspace. You'll take them in Brightspace. Generally, you're going to have a week to take the exam, right? So these are not. You'll have plenty of time. Trading assignments. These trading assignments these are hosted on GitHub, so you can see all of the trading assignments now if you'd like, right? So trading assignment 4, it's here. One of the things I should mention is in the course, I'm going to request paper trading accounts from interactive brokers. So you'll sign up for an interactive broker account, and then you will make the trades in that interactive broker's account. While I'm talking about interactive brokers, I might as well mention that you should definitely, you'll sign up for this, you'll get a username and password, don't lose it. If you do lose it, you'll have to use a demo account, and then I need to verify your trade. So what's going to happen is if you have a username and password, when you submit your trading assignment, you're going to give me your account number, and then I'm going to verify that you made those trades. If you lose your username and password, you're going to have to use a demo account, which a demo account, when you open it once you close it, everything's gone, right? You don't have a permanent account. So you'll have to do like screenshots or something to verify that you've done the trade. So what I would do is don't lose your username and password. All right, so there's a little bit about the brokerage accounts here. So 3 exams, again, you'll have like a week to do them. They're multiple choice. Trading assignments, and then a required Black-Scholes project. This is going to be in Excel. We can talk about this more once we've studied options. You can read about the requirements here. So this is going to give you your grade, right? Exam 1, 20% of your grade. Each exam is 20% of your grade. Trading assignments in total, 20%. Black-Scholes project, 20%. All right, so that's your grade. There's some optional stuff that you can do if you go through this and you still want to do more. I have a bunch of projects, real world projects that you can do. I list a couple here. However, these are not to say I missed the Black-Scholes project, so I'm going to do one of these. That's not the way it works. So in other words, basically, if you want to do an optional project, you pretty much already have to have an A in the course. This is just one of the reasons why I have optional projects is sometimes students ask for recommendations. So if you want a recommendation for a job or graduate school, I would go ahead and do optional projects. That gives me more to evaluate you on, more to talk about in a recommendation. One of the things is when you take a course with professors, if you're going to sit there and say, I'm just going to do the minimum, I'm going to take the exams and do this and not do anything else, and then you ask for a recommendation later, it's kind of hard to write one for you because I don't really, I could say, hey, you took the exams and you got an A, but what else do I say, right? So you really have to do something extra. So I can talk about, recommendation. This gives me stuff to write a recommendation about. Okay. I have to remind myself to talk about sort of a little bit more about the topics we're going to cover in the course. A couple important notices just to get off on the right foot. So if there is no special grading scale, sometimes students will get a D in the course, and then they'll say, oh, well, but I need this course to graduate. As if I go, oh, well, then you have a B, right? No, that's not the way it works. Whatever you earn, you get whatever grade you earn, and then there's no kind of you do special work or anything like that if you need it to graduate. So I just want to get that out of the way. Also, an important note on late work. So you have when we go through here, right? Here's the training assignments, the due dates on them. So you know those today. The grading assignments are already up here. You'll have your interactive brokers account within a week. So you have plenty of time to do these. So I'm being extraordinarily lenient, but that is the extent of my leniency. So the idea is if you hand in something, late work is not accepted. So sometimes I'll get a student that'll say, well, it's the due date, so it's September 22nd, and they say, well, my power went out. Well, I don't care. You had a month, you didn't do it. You should not wait to the last minute, right? If your power goes out, that's life, right? Again, I've spent a lot of time in industry, and this is an upper level course, so I'm trying to get you ready to go to industry. So if, that sort of excuse wouldn't fly in industry where you're saying, okay, well, I have something to do, so I waited to the exact last minute, and then the power goes out. Well, you shouldn't have waited to the last minute, right? So I would try to get this done, in a timely manner. Also, you're going to run into problems on this. So a lot of times I'll get emails from students saying, oh, well, I don't know how to do this. Well, it's September, it's the due date, so I'm not going to help you on the due date. Before that, happy to help you, but I'm not going to kind of drop everything because you waited till the last second. Another thing to note here, and I'll note this many times in the course, the stock market closes at 4 o'clock. So sometimes I'll get emails from students saying, well, it's 5 o'clock, on September 22nd, and I'm not able to do my trades. Well, no kidding, the market's closed. The fact that you didn't know that the market's closed means you should get a 0, right? You should absolutely get a 0. So I just want to note now, 95% of the students in the course generally hand in everything on time. So I'm really only talking to a 5 5% of the course here. And those 5% probably aren't going to watch this video, right? So if you're watching this, you're probably fine. So, but I just want to get that out of the way so we have it documented. There's, if there's, if you hand it in late, it's going to be a 0. That also goes, however, for the exam. So the idea is you'll have about a week to do the exam. Again, computers have problems. Sometimes storms come and the power gets shut off. So if you're waiting till the last moment to submit your exam, you're gambling, right? And sometimes you gamble, it pays off. Sometimes you gamble, and it doesn't, right? So again, you'll have like a week to do the exams. I highly recommend you do not wait till the last day to submit it. All right. So we're all on the same page about this, right? Now that said, just as most people do well in this course, the way college is these days, you generally tend to have a lot of people that get A's and then like a couple that get F's, right? So most people who listen to this will do well, and then there's a few that will just decide not to hand stuff in on time and they'll get F's. All right. Okay, good. So a little bit about what we're going to cover in this course, because there is some flexibility here. What we cover in chapters 1 through 4 are how to interact with markets. What markets are real assets, financial assets. We're talking about financial assets in this course, but how we trade them, basically limit order books. What kind of orders can we submit to interact with limit order books? So, market limit orders. We'll talk a little bit about ETFs and how managed money has changed over time. So the idea, the sort of the transition from mutual funds to ETFs, what hedge funds are, and so forth. After that, we jump into options, so derivative markets. These are very important. Particularly futures markets are important for companies. This course is generally kind of this is a investments course from a corporation standpoint, not a personal finance per se. So we don't talk at a personal finance level. There's a lot of tax implications. We don't talk about tax implications in this course. We're talking about a lot of how a company might hedge. If you're Exxon, how are you hedging? If you're Kellogg, again, Starbucks, how are you hedging? So they're going to hedge with futures. We'll talk about selling crude oil futures, selling, buying wheat futures, that type of thing, and then option markets on this is actually a little bit somewhat personal finance, particularly if you look at sort of Wall Street bets, but it'll allow you to hedge portfolios or speculate if you'd really like to. One thing we don't have in here is portfolio theory in terms of how to construct a portfolio of stocks per se. So that we can cover. Usually that's in a separate course called portfolio theory, because it's a quite in-depth topic. So if anyone says, okay, well, I'd really like to look to. Most funds do not construct a portfolio. You can look at this in your text, like using Markowitz mean variance optimization. However, understanding Markowitz means variance optimization gives you a basis to think about how you would go about constructing a portfolio. So that's kind of why we don't, you're not going to get into any place and they're going to say, okay, well, optimize this, create this optimal portfolio. Whereas you absolutely might go into a company and they're going to say, okay, well, you're going to work with the natural gas futures trading desk, right? So you could jump in doing this type of stuff. But if you take a look at it and you're like, well, I'd really like to learn something about portfolio theory, I can do some lectures. There's probably some lectures up. Well, there definitely are that I have. I think I have a whole channel or playlist, I guess you would call it, on portfolio theory. How would I see? What do I have here? How do I see? Playlists. I should have one in portfolio theory. Yeah, portfolio theory. So here's a bunch of stuff in portfolio theory. So if you're interested and you want to look at this stuff, I can put some exam questions and say, okay, we're going to cover this aspect of portfolio theory. Good. All right. I think that's a little bit about Brightspace. So let me see if I can find Brightspace here. What am I doing? Greeks, limited order investments. Oh, it's all the way at the end. So here is where we interact in the course. Yeah, let me talk a little bit about course communications. So course home, I'll put announcements here. Here's the syllabus, a link to the syllabus. What we, you won't actually see what I have, but the main ways to interact is, one, I have the assignments here. So here's the option, pricing, project. Here's trading assignments. So this is, you'll submit your assignments here. You'll have quizzes when you have to take the exam. You go to quizzes and you'll see your exam here. You see this. You can't see them yet, but I'll change the exam substantially, but you'll see your exam here. Discussions are where we mainly interact. So this is what an important note to mention. If you have questions on the course, definitely put them in the discussion board. So I have general questions, video requests, questions on exam material. I'll have some more discussion boards here. Just if you have a question, figure out, just choose, it doesn't really matter which discussion board is the best, and ask the question there. And then you should also be reading what other students ask. What I wouldn't do is send me an email. So the idea here is, it's probably not too surprising, but maybe 10 people might have the same question, right? So then, if that's the case, I will generally tend to get 10 emails, responding to 10 emails. It's not a very efficient way to run a course. So that's why if you ask here, I respond once and then everyone sees it, right? So the vastly preferred method of communication is via discussion boards. If you have any question of a personal nature, that has any sort of personal information, then obviously email it to me. But if it's not of a personal nature, include it in the discussion boards. I think maybe the last note I'll say now is I have this material, right? Lectures, financial education, lecture notes. At some point, it may make sense to meet like via office hours or something like that. So I have office hours on request. If we do have that, we'll have it via sort of a Google Meet or a Discord. Whatever is more convenient for you. The video conferencing in this isn't very good, so Discord and Google Meets is much better. So we can meet like that. However, again, much of what I'm doing is preparing you to go work somewhere. If we are going to meet, then you must be prepared with questions. Meaning, let's say we're going to meet on. If we have a meeting, I'll open it up to everyone. So, I'll email the class and say, hey, we're meeting at this time. So anyone can show up. And then what you would do when we meet is you show me what you have done, and then I help you with it. So if it's an option pricing project, right, the one that you're going to do in Excel, Black-Scholes option pricing, you show me what you've attempted to do, and then I help you through the problem that you're having. The way this doesn't work is you show up and say, I don't know what to do. Then that's right. I have a bunch of instructions here, right? There's instructions in the textbook on how to input Black-Scholes. So in other words, and I'll do a video on it. So I have videos on Black-Scholes. So you should look at the videos, look at the text, and then give it an honest effort, and then we can meet to go over it. But it's definitely not to just kind of go in and say, well, I don't know. Sometimes a student will go, well, I don't get it. Well, you got to be more specific, right? There could be a million reasons why you don't get something. So what have you tried and why didn't it work? And again, that's no different than you're working somewhere. And if you're going to ask somebody a question, you have to be specific about what the problem is. This is what I've tried. This is what I expected the result to be. This is what happened. So how does my result deviate from the expected result? Then someone can help you. But if you just kind of show up and go, well, I don't get it, that's not. It's an improper way to ask a question fundamentally. So yeah, absolutely. We could happy to meet, but definitely be prepared to meet, and then we can use our time efficiently. Like I say, whenever you're in industry, people don't like meetings if it's not necessary. So you want to, people don't like meetings generally. So you want to be prepared so you can make the most impactful use of other people's time that you can, right? That would be the idea. Good. So there's a lot here. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in the course. Definitely feel free to reach out on discussion boards. And I hope you enjoy the course.